Okay, so we shall call this meeting to order. Please call a roll. Alderman Conway, Alderman Moore, Alderman Vaccaro,
Present.
Alderman Cone,
Present.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderman Muhammad,
Present.
Chairwoman Davis.
Present.
4 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Today we have a pretty extensive list of bills that require our attention. I want to bring note to the fact that you also have the fiscal notes for each bill so that we can have the opportunity to determine whether or not it brings any burden to the process. So I'd like to turn it over to you, Rob.
Okay, thank you. We do have a number of items, so I'm going to start. Rob's going to take the first one with the lease with Hunter Engineering. So,
Which board bill are we on?
I'm sorry, Bill 95.
95.
Good morning. We're requesting your approval for a lease agreement with Hunter Engineering Company. It's 25,142 square feet of vacant land located at Hammock Drive, right at this notch right here in Bridgeton, Missouri. And revenue to the airport is $10,057 annually. And there's a CPI index increase every third anniversary for the contract. It's 10 years. And the use of the land is limited to landscaping and the current ingress and egress of vehicles. The land is within the runway protection zone, so there's really quite literally nothing else they can do with the land. The term is 10 years, and we respectfully request your approval of this lease agreement with Hunter Engineering Company.
So here we have identified that there is no fiscal cost to us with this lease. And you've identified the background as well again, and it kind of, without going through the entire bill, if you look at the briefing paper, I think it gives you a synopsis that moves you forward. It's the third page there. We'll check and see if any of the committee members have any questions on this bill.
I'll just make a motion, we pass it out.
Second.
Do pass recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded by Alderman Vaccaro. Moved by Alderman Vaccaro, seconded by Alderman Collins. Muhammad Collins. So we have, call the roll, please.
Alderman Conway, Alderman Moore, Alderman Vaccaro,
Yes.
Alderman Cone,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderman Muhammad,
Yes.
Chairwoman Davis.
Yes.
4 aye votes do pass.
The next, you want me to continue?
Board Bill 102.
Thank you. We're requesting your approval lease agreement with Trans-States Holdings Incorporated. Trans-States Holdings Incorporated rents part of the airport office building, which is this structure right here. They have 65,333 square feet of office and administrative space in that building. Trans-States Holdings operates Trans-States Airlines, GoJet Airlines, and Compass Airlines out of that space. The revenue to the airport begins at $406,432 annually, and during the 5-year term of the agreement moves up to $517,444 annually. The current rental amount, to let you know, is $365,000 annually, so we're seeing over a $40,000 increase right away. The term of the agreement is 5 years, beginning October 1st, 2017, and September 30th, 2022. We respectfully request your approval of this lease agreement with Trans-States Holdings Incorporated.
Okay, any questions of committee
I
members?
would like to make a motion, we pass board bill 102 out. And if there's a second, then I want to ask for previous roll.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been asked for previous roll, no objections. Board Bill 102 passed out of committee. We're going to move on to Board Bill 107.
107, I'll take that one. So we're requesting your approval on a draft ordinance that approves the airport's air service incentive program for fiscal year 2018 through 2020 with an effective date of October 1 of 2017. The benefits under this program may not exceed $4.8 million. We have had an air service program. For those who may not be familiar with it, we, much like the rest of the industry, medium hubs and even the large hub airports, to try and bring new service into their airports are offering incentives, mostly in the waiver of landing fees. And that's what this program is. So we have, under this program, added over 25 cities to our airport, almost all of which have remained in that. What we require is that if it's an existing market, there's a much smaller incentive program for an airline to come in if it's an existing market. But if it's a new market and you commit to 2 years' worth of service, we pay your landing fee for 12 months. That is paid out of our airport development fund. And if it's an international market, we pay that landing fee for 18 months. Again, you commit to a 2-year window. So this is an FAA-approved program. The FAA has final say-so over any air incentive program to ensure that you're offering the same program and being fair to all of your tenants. So it is an FAA-approved program. It is both for cargo and for passenger flights. We have only thus far used it for passenger flights. No one's taken advantage of it on the cargo activity. The monies, as I said, will come from our ADF, and you'll see in the next board bill that we'll be requesting to take a portion of that and put into the ADF so that we can fund the program. So I would request that you respectfully approve this ordinance.
Okay.
I don't have a question as much as a statement, because this was going on even back when I was on the commission, but I couldn't remember. If, like, Southwest Airlines adds another flight, do they get that incentive? I couldn't remember, or is that
They
just
do.
totally new?
Yeah, if it's a new market, they don't get it if they currently fly to Austin and they put a second flight into
Right,
Austin.
no, but if they
But
started
if it's a new
flight.
market, yes, they do.
Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't kind of refresh my memory.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion, if nobody cares, that we pass Board Bill 107 out with a due pass recommendation. Previous rule.
Previous roll, there are no objections, Board Bill 107 passes out of committee. Board Bill 108,
Okay, as I said, Board Bill 18 kind of corresponds to this. What we are asking for in Board 108 is to approve an ordinance for the funding of part of the air service program. We're asking to transfer $1.6 million from the Airport Development Fund into the Airport Contingency Fund. The money would strictly be used for the air service incentive program. Again, our total amount for the 3 years cannot exceed $4.8 million. This is just a small portion of that.
So again, I'd like to.
Can I ask just one question?
Okay, no, go ahead, I'm
So
sorry.
what's the current balance in the airport development fund?
The current balance in the airport fund, I believe, we just looked at that this morning, is right at $20 million.
Okay, but, and the 4.8 is over the course of the 3-year program?
Right, so we're only encumbering 1.6 of that now,
Aren't we?
obviously.
Okay, great. I have
Okay.
no other questions.
I'm sorry, because I
okay,
didn't.
any other questions?
I make a motion that we pass Board Bill 108 with a due pass recommendation.
I'll second it and ask for previous rule.
Move second,
I'm sorry,
previous
because
roll.
I knew, I know some.
There are no objections, Board Bill 108 passes out of committee. Board Bill 109,
All right, well, good morning. This
morning.
proposed ordinance, Board Bill 109, authorizes year number 2 of the airport's approved 5-year, $170 million capital improvement program. This draft ordinance authorized expenditures for capital projects as outlined in your Exhibit A. The estimated project cost of $110 million is funded from the Airport Development Fund, the Passenger Facility Charge Fund, and the 2017 series construction bonds that were issued this summer. The remainder of the cost will be funded by Airport Improvement Program grants authorized by the FAA. We respectfully request your approval. Are there any questions?
any questions of committee members?
No, then I'll make the motion that we pass Board Bill 109 out with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Moved in
Previous roll.
second, previous roll.
Shane, if I'm jumping ahead of the show.
Okay, Board Bill 109 passes out of committee. Board Bill 110,
Board Bill 110, this is an ordinance to actually extend an existing program. We have a program that is through the Missouri Department of Transportation, MoDOT, and that gives marketing monies to all airports in the state of Missouri. This is not for air service incentive, it's marketing dollars to market new routes or to be able to do ads for airlines that are looking at putting in new service. So the original program was, this is a reimbursable, so we spend the money and then we get reimbursed. The original program was from June 30th, or July 1st of 2015 to June 30th of 2016. We were a little bit shy of being able to spend all of the money, so we asked that they extend that for 3 months to allow us to recoup additional, because we knew we had some marketing dollars that we were gonna be using in that 3 months. They agreed to do that and allowed us to recoup dollars from June 30th of 2016 up through September of 2016. So the total amount, we have to do a 10% match. The MoDOT gave us $592,000 for that 1-year period. Our match was $65,778, so a project total of $657,778. With this 3-month extension, we will go back and recoup all of that eligible program.
I have a question. I know that we market our airport and services that are there, but what I don't see is, I don't see it marketed, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see it in some of our lower income markets. And why is that?
When you say lower income, we don't market in St. Louis, we market outside
So
of St.
you're
Louis.
marketing for the
Right,
incoming.
right. So most of
But
these.
not outgoing.
That's exactly right, because, we look at it as that we've got a captive audience here. So if you're going to fly, you're going to fly out of Lambert. And so what we really do is use these marketing dollars in those markets. If Southwest took advantage of putting in a new flight from St. Louis to, from Austin to St. Louis, you can choose to go Austin to Midway, to, Austin to St. Louis, Austin to somewhere else. We want them to come through St. Louis. Same with some of these marketing dollars in some of our, anywhere. I mean, whether it's with Delta, American, Cape Air, Air Choice, we really market to that community to take the flights through St. Louis.
Like a few years ago, I went to Portland, and Alaska Airlines had just extended
Yeah.
a direct flight from St. Louis to Portland, and in Portland, there was paid
Marketing everywhere,
advertising
yeah.
saying, fly to St. Louis on Alaskan
Yeah.
Airlines.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, actually.
So you won't see marketing dollars spent here in the St. Louis market. It is spent on, once a new market comes, it's spent in those markets to encourage travelers to take the flight.
Okay. And the reason I asked that question is because I've been following a lot of concern about people are driving more versus flying. And that's a great concern for me, because I want people to have different kinds of experiences. And unless they understand, sometimes it's more economic, but then sometimes the places that they go, they feel as though the 2 hours they spend are going through security and all that, and the waiting and the delays, they could have just drove there. And so, I just wondered, because I know a lot of people never think about flying out of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can look at that. I mean, if we think there's some opportunity, usually we work wherever the carrier, because this money is spent with the air carriers, so it is however they choose to take advantage of it. So we can certainly throw that out, that perhaps there's some opportunity to market in St. Louis as
Oh,
well.
there really is. And I look at that when I get on a plane too, and this community is not on that plane. So did I get a motion, please, to pass Board Bill 110?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Move to
Previous
second,
roll.
previous roll. Board Bill 110, pass out of committee. Okay. Board Bill 111.
Board Bill 111, again, this is the same program. So this is an ordinance to authorize, to allow us to enter into the agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation to reimburse the city up to $375,000. The dollar amount that they granted this year was a little bit less than what they had granted the previous year. We have our 10% match, which is $41,667. So the total project, value of the project is $416. So we'll do the same thing. We'll use the monies as the airlines put in new service to help them market that new service. So it's the same program as mentioned in Board Bill 110. So with that, I would ask your approval of Board Bill number 111.
Any questions?
So just, is this the same program that like WOW would be using as well?
Yes. So the marketing dollars, we, the airport, gave WOW $100,000 to market in Iceland and throughout Europe. we will get reimbursed through this program for that.
Okay.
There was additional monies that came from the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership as well, but for the airport's portion of the 100,000 that we gave as part of ours, we will be able to recoup through this program.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Okay. Motion to approve Board Bill 111.
I make a motion that we pass Board Bill 111 out with the due pass recommendation.
Second and previous roll.
Thank you.
Board Bill 111 passes out of committee, thank you. Board Bill 112.
We're requesting your approval of the First Amendment to the Wi-Fi and Distributed Antenna System Operating Agreement that we have with Concourse Communications Group LLC. They do business at the airport as Boingo. This First Amendment increases the number of free Wi-Fi minutes at no charge to the user. It goes from 20 minutes free to 60 minutes free. It also reduces the minimum annual guarantee payable and the percentage fee payable to the city by Boingo. The term of the agreement is unchanged and it commenced on March 1st, 2015, ends October 30th, 2025. We respectfully request your approval of this First Amendment to the Wi-Fi and Distributed Antenna System Operating Agreement.
There are a couple of things I will add to that. You know, this has been a long time request of airport users. It's our number one complaint, is why we do not have more than 20 minutes free. In the past, it has been a fiscal decision of ours. We saw significant increases in our non-aeronautical revenue this year. And as a result of that, we felt that it was time to address this concern of the traveling public. And because the revenues have been so much stronger, the loss of the offset of revenue coming in, we've been able to recoup through other non-aeronautical revenues. So it's been a complaint that we've received from our consumers for the better part of the last 4 years, that we don't have a longer period than 20 minutes.
So I probably do have a question on this.
Go ahead, sir.
Because I didn't read the fiscal note. How much of a loss is it?
We really won't
55,000.
know for certain until the end of the year, but, you know, we're anticipating.
We were anticipating a downturn. Right, last year we got $171,000 in revenue. This year we're anticipating about $162,000 in revenue from it, with the 60 minutes free.
Well, it's gonna be more than that.
It's,
And the length of the contract hasn't changed?
No, the length of
Right.
the contract hasn't changed.
I
So
always
the
say-
minimum guarantee is going down, but the revenue is still strong enough that it won't make a difference
Right,
because we're.
Right.
our revenues are coming in so strong in
It's
in
twice as what the
concessions and other
guarantee-
parking,
yeah,
and
okay.
so it's, the offset is more than there.
Yeah, in the revenue explanation here, you
I
say
just tried to read it.
yeah,
More curious
that,
question. I'm not gonna.
it's being reduced from 30 to 20%, which
Right.
still keeps us in the, we're okay.
I was
But that's the
curious, 'cause I didn't
minimum
have a chance to look at it. I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
gonna object to it, I just was a curious question.
It's not when I was reading the fiscal note, I was thinking, well, that seems like a, adverse impact, but if the revenue is 2 or 3 times what the minimum guarantee is, then we're already getting the minimum guarantee anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
We'll be very happy when our audited numbers come out for fiscal year 17. They're extremely strong on the revenue side.
That sounds good, that sounds
So
good.
it hurt.
Can I make a motion that we pass Board Bill 112 out with a due pass recommendation?
Second and previous roll.
All right, Board Bill 112 passes out of committee. We need to take 5 minutes for those who have it. Amber is going to be making a presentation to us very quickly. I think it's important that we get it. There's gonna be a lot of things going on with the airport in the future. Every opportunity we have to get some professional development, we're gonna take it. All right, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
If you want to take one and pass it down. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You
I'm
got-
just-
No problem.
We'll leave you a couple extra copies as
I
well.
appreciate
Right,
that,
yeah,
thank
that
you.
would be good.
And we'll put it in the mailboxes with all the committee members.
I do have to take one, but I'm gonna.
If it's less than, because I got 11:30.
All right, you know what, I can go through this in
Well,
fine.
if it's better, would you
Would you
prefer
like
we
to wait
wait?
till the
I'm
next
fine
meeting?
with waiting.
Let's
Yeah.
wait, because I read
Okay, sure. Yeah,
It's a good presentation, so I
Yeah.
think it's got some value.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and we really need that whole committee
Okay.
to
I
get.
agree.
Okay.
would love
Yeah.
because,
Sure.
Yeah, and, I mean, we did start 45 minutes late, so.
Yeah, no, that's fine,
Not a
we're happy to,
Yeah.
it's a good presentation, I think it's more worthwhile to wait for the full committee or.
Okay, yeah, okay, I
Or
appreciate
At least so that
that.
we have more time to ask questions.
Sure,
too.
absolutely.
And we'll go ahead and put this in the mailboxes.
Okay, you mean,
Okay.
okay,
You're gonna do
I'll make some
the, Shane,
copies.
you're gonna.
okay. Here you are, sir.
And then we'll bring extra copies
And
next
then,
time.
yeah,
I'm leaving.
I'll take those.
I'm gonna take my copy.
Sure.
I'll get
Read it
those.
at bedtime. Little
free to ask
bite-sized
You know what, and please feel
Thank
free,
you.
if there are any questions. in
Meeting
the email,
adjourned.
You say, hey, I'd like to see you address X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
If you think I've left something.